They say that the love of money is the root of all evil. Meaning that if you put money first and over things like people, over things like equality, over things like life, over things like freaking freedom, that's the root of all evil. People, businesses, corporations, governments, you name it. The love of money is the root of all evil. And what's sad to say now is that a business that I used to love for my entire life, it seems, is doing just that. All right, so for those of you guys that haven't been aware, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous making this video because once again, I'm signed with the NBA Playmakers, a network, YouTube network that's directly linked to the NBA. You know, they watch my videos, they survey my videos, and I know they still do survey my videos because they'll still put copyright claims on anything that I use NBA related that they did not give me permission to use. So I know there's probably someone linked to the NBA watching this right now, and I can guarantee you that I'm probably going to be hearing from the network after this, because this is the stuff that the NBA does not want you to speak up about. I got warned once about speaking against the NBA, and let's see what happens after this one. But I don't know about you guys, but I cannot sell my dignity, my soul, my sense of what's right and what's wrong for this YouTube thing. I'm not going to do that. I cannot. That's where I draw the line. So we're just gonna have to talk about what needs to be talked about, because over the weekend, some controversy boiled up surrounding the NBA after the general manager of the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, tweeted out his support of the protests over in Hong Kong. And for those of you guys that aren't aware of what's going on over in Hong Kong, to be honest, I myself wasn't really aware of what's going on over in Hong Kong before this weekend, but after the tweet, I started to do research, started to watch videos, and essentially the people in Hong Kong, I say the people, the young people, when I say the young people, I mean 15, 16, 17-year-old kids are over there fighting for their freedom, fighting against the Hong Kong government for their freedom. They're being beaten. I mean, kids are literally being beaten and referred to as objects by their government. That's when I really lost it. I mean, I was at the library studying this whole thing, and I came across a video of a bunch of police ganging up on this man lying on the ground, basically in the fetal position. And it was clearly a person. And yet after that kind of went viral and caused even more anger and outburst, the government referred to this person as an object, denying that it wasn't even a person, which is obviously beyond messed up, but this is what's going on over there in Hong Kong. And like I said, general manager of the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, tweeted out his support for the protesters over in Hong Kong, saying free HK, which for those of you guys that don't know, the Houston Rockets and China, Hong Kong have been linked together for a while. That's been China's favorite team, the Houston Rockets, mainly because of Yao Ming. He used to play for the Houston Rockets. China loves Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets were huge over in China. The NBA is huge over in China. And after Daryl Morey sent that tweet, it caused a ripple effect, which ultimately revealed the true colors of the NBA. And that is that, now, of course, the NBA is a business, so of course they're going to care about money. but it showed that the NBA cares about money more than anything else. The values that they claim they have, the perception that they want to be perceived by the world, like they'll stick up for things if it makes them look good and it won't affect their bottom line, and it might even get them more publicity, more supporters. If that's the cause they're sticking up for, they'll stick up for that cause. However, if it's something that, you know, is kind of controversial, even though people fighting for freedom, fighting for their freedom is something that I thought the NBA should get behind, because the NBA is supposed to be all about freedom, right? But instead, because they realized that if they sided with Daryl Morey, and China and Daryl Morey after this are not on good terms. The Houston Rockets are no longer China's favorite team. They've lost the ability to like broadcast their games in China. All of the upcoming games they had scheduled to play in China have been canceled. Jerseys no longer being sold in China, the Houston Rockets jerseys. Basically everything Houston Rockets related has been banned in China because GM Daryl Morey spoke up, voicing his support for the young people over in Hong Kong fighting for their freedom. And the NBA, instead of backing up their GM, one of their GMs, instead of voicing their support for freedom, they went the opposite route. They kind of lambasted Daryl Morey, threw him under the bridge, and basically said, we don't condone anything that he said. We don't feel the same way about freedom that Daryl Morey does. And the reason is because they do not want to lose their support in China. That's a lot of money that the NBA has coming in from China, right? Essentially, they chose money over what was right, over doing the right thing. They throw one of their own under the bridge to save some money, to save face over in China, even though what they're defending isn't right. I mean, once again, you have young people over there in China being killed over this. I mean, these are the same young people that probably love the Houston Rockets and the NBA. These are the same young people who are probably buying Houston Rockets jerseys, who are the same young people who would be asking their parents to take them to a Houston Rockets game. They're saving up their allowance to go to a Houston Rockets game when it's over there in China. And instead of sticking up for those people because they will lose the support of China as a whole and the money, they decided to stick with the money over the people. They put the money over the people. They put money over freedom. And it's crazy because the NBA in the past has voiced their displeasure at things like this. You guys remember back the All-Star game was canceled in Charlotte because of the whole bathroom, like the Charlotte the gender thing in Charlotte. The NBA was like, well, we don't support that, so we're going to pull the All-Star game from Charlotte, right? At that point, people were like, you know what? The NBA is doing what's right. They're pro-freedom. They're pro people, they didn't care about what it would cost them as pulling the All-Star game out of Charlotte and rearranging the All-Star weekend and stuff. They went out and they did the right thing. But now in retrospect, after this is something that completely contradicts that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how are you going to say that you're pro-freedom one time and then the next time say you're not pro-freedom, just because saying that would cost you a lot of support of China? I mean, they were scared to do what's right because it was going to cost them money. That's the weakest thing I've ever seen. That's the absolute weakest thing I've ever seen. This is the freaking love of money, man. And it also sucks because a player did it too. Another player did it. Actually, everyone around the NBA is doing it. The GM of the Brooklyn Nets pretty much just did the same thing. Actually, I think he's probably the biggest scumbag of all, because it seems like he just put out basically a statement defending what China is doing and completely throwing the GM of the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, under the bus. All right. He basically said that what GM Daryl Morey did was wrong, and he didn't have the full story, and how he supports the non-protesters in China, how he supports the Chinese government. All right. He came out with this long thing saying that, like, he basically wanted the support that the Houston Rockets were getting over in China to come over to the Brooklyn Nets. That's essentially the angle that he was taking when he put out this statement on Facebook. And it's like, dang, you're really selling out the freedom of others just so you can build your own Brooklyn Nets up, just so you can maybe sell some more jerseys. Maybe you can get some games broadcasted over there in China. Maybe play some games in China, get some revenue from China, from the people of China. That's messed up. And then James Harden, the face of the Houston Rockets, also threw Daryl Morey under the bridge, which I think is really funny because clearly James Harden did it because, you know, he has connections with Nike. Of course, he'd get in trouble with the NBA most likely if he did the same thing that Daryl Morey did. And he has sponsorships that he wants to keep. You know, his shoe sales probably doing great in China. His jersey sales probably not going to be so great anymore since they're not allowed to sell Houston Rockets stuff, but his shoe sales still going on in China. He still wants to be known as the man in China. So he also threw Daryl Morey under the bridge, under the bus. What's going on here? And once again, I know the NBA is going to see this video. They're not going to like it. I mean, it's the same reason you won't see ESPN talking about this. You won't see FS1, any of the major sporting networks that have these massive contracts with the NBA talking about this, because if they did, guess what? They'd be in trouble by the NBA. So they're just going to, you know, let it go under the radar. They don't want to comment on it because it'll get them in trouble with the NBA. And they can't do that because they will lose a lot of money, the love of money. You know, it's just really, really sad. And I've known the NBA is a business all along, but this really sheds a light on it. Like, there was something that I saw ex-NBA commissioner David Stern say not too long ago on a YouTube video I was watching that kind of disturbed me. When he was basically said something along the lines of, can you imagine what it would be like if we were able to get one more year out of all of these star players? If we were able to extend their careers for one more year, aka if we were able to extend the careers of all these star players, the NBA would make so much more money off of these star players. We could use them for one more year. We could milk them for everything they're worth for one more year, because the bottom line is, once a player no longer is bringing in money to the NBA, once they're no longer selling jerseys, selling tickets, selling all this other stuff, the NBA don't care about you. The NBA don't care. You fall out the league, that's on you, right? That they're not going to reach out to former star players to, you know, make sure everything's good after all the work they put in for the NBA, after all the tickets they sold, after all the jerseys that they sold, after everything. That's why people say that Carmelo's been blackballed from the NBA, because there used to be a time in which he was one of the biggest earners for the freaking NBA. Jerseys sold, tickets sold. He was that name. He was up there with LeBron James. He was up there with all, you know, the NBA was making oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles of money of Carmelo Anthony. Now look at how the NBA treats Carmelo Anthony. That's why some players are upset. Ex-players, current players, fans, that's why they're upset over the Carmelo Anthony thing. And like I said, I don't know what's going to happen to this channel now. I can't not speak on this though. I can't not voice my utmost disappointment in the NBA. And then the statements that the NBA made after this. I mean, they made two completely different statements, one in English and one in Chinese, and, you know, whatever. You know, they made two completely different statements contradicting each other to make it seem not as bad over here, but over there make it seem like they really had their back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, these are the things that will get fans to lose faith in the NBA. I know it's a business, but that doesn't mean that the business should put people behind money. It's sad that this is the world we live in. I mean, that's what's wrong with the world. If it weren't for things like this, then they wouldn't be such a bad place. If people would stop putting money over people, then this world will be a much better place. But everyone's got to get money, right? And those that have the money will do anything that they can to keep the money because they're scared. But like I said, this is just me voicing my opinions on this topic, voicing my utmost disgust and displeasure with the NBA. I thought this was going to be a video that I could script, but as I sat there to try and script out the video, I realized that there's no way that I could script this out. This is just something that I have to turn the camera on and start talking about because honestly, words cannot describe how disgusting that this truly is. That the NBA would side with the oppressors for money. And that just shines a whole light on what the NBA actually stands for, what the NBA actually cares about. The NBA cares. You know, those commercials, NBA cares about community. Of course they do. NBA cares about the players. Of course they do. NBA cares about the fans. Of course they do. No, what the NBA really cares about is money. Bottom line. Money. Money, more money, even more money than that. That's the order of what the NBA cares about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Money, 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 money. As if they don't have enough money. Billion-dollar company. They don't have enough money, right? 4, I don't care how many Houston Rockets jerseys you might have bought. I don't care how big of a fan you might have been. We're siding with the other guys because they got more money. Like I said, not sure what's going to happen to this channel. The NBA is definitely going to see this video and they're not going to be happy. But I'm not going to sit back and just not talk about this because I'm scared of what's going to happen to this channel. You know, if I could delete this channel myself and that would give the people over in China their freedom, if that would put an end to it, I would, because why wouldn't I? It's talking about thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of lives. Don't put anything over that. You don't. That's nothing I'd ever do. But sadly, something that the NBA does. Like I said, though, guys, this really did shine a huge shining light on the NBA itself and shows what they care about. Now, I know that all of this will probably blow over in a couple of weeks because that's how the media works. I mean, the next news cycle will come in, this will get swept under the bridge, people will forget about it because they're already talking about the next thing, right? Especially since the NBA season's about to start. How long until all of that overshadows this, and this is just water under the bridge, right? That's what the NBA is thinking. Even if it gets in some bad press now, in the long run, they get to keep their money, and this issue just kind of fades away out of existence. Have whole PR damage control teams probably working night and day shifts trying to make sure the NBA's image isn't ruined. Man, what goes around comes around, though. It's the truth. So, what that means for the NBA, I'm not sure. It's hard to support the NBA after this. Like, just thinking about having to come back tomorrow to make a video on talking about the NBA after seeing their true colors kind of disheartens me. To be told, truth be told, this is part of the reason that I had a hard time making videos for the longest time, you know? I took that long break. It's because I started to realize what the NBA actually was and what it actually stands for. that talk about they care about freedom, talk about all this other stuff, but the bottom line is they care about money. That's it. If there's money to be had somewhere, the NBA is into it. Money, 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 grow bigger, bigger, bigger. Money, 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 bigger, bigger, bigger. Money, money. It's the sad truth of the game. And it even reflects in how players are being injured so frequently now because of the way that the NBA wants the players to play. I mean, they won't shorten the season because money will be lost. They shorten the season, that's a lot less ad spots to be sold. TV contracts probably become smaller. All this stuff happens, but at the same time, players are out there getting seriously injured because they can't keep up with the pace of the game because it's not humanly possible to keep up with the pace of the game. And it's so dangerous to try and keep up with the pace of the game and then do it over 82 games plus the postseason. I mean, players are once again getting injured, but the faster pace brings in more money because it gets more viewers. Money, 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 money. That's it. That's it for this video. I think I got everything I need to get out there. Guys, realize that not everything that you hear from the NBA is going to be true. Not everything that you hear from any business, corporation, person in general is going to be true. They're all looking out for their best interests. They're all looking out for their bottom line. They'll do and say anything to make sure that they keep that bottom line. Right? They'll do and say anything to make sure that they keep that money coming in. No matter what it costs, even if it's selling out the freedoms of others, even if it's throwing someone under the bus for speaking out on what they believe in, when what they believe in is the freedom of billions of people.